I recognized his happiness when he saw Lake Baikal, everyone's forgotten place by the railroad tracks. He is a writer that finds his success in countries other than Russia. He receives awards for his writing. He was also a dissident and spent 12 years in a Russian prison.
Whenever I had a chance, I came back here. There were different reasons for my returns. Because my life came out differently, sometimes my return was from running and hiding. Coming here always rejuvenated me. I didn't take the chance to see other places of paradise like the Krim or the Black Sea. When I had a chance, I came to Lake Baikal, my special place. It's interesting the feeling I have that brings me back to my hometown. I tried to understand this feeling. What does it mean to me? Is it only because of the geographic location or because of the nice view or because of my childhood? Or is it to see people that I have known for years? I found the answer was that all of these different reasons gave me a nostalgia that turns to love. When my feelings take over my mind, the frustration was going to break me in half. Then I realized I had to leave everything and go to Lake Baikal. The main thing in my memory, besides the views of the mountains, river, and the lake, is the people who still live in this area. I was here a year and a half ago, and your wife was alive.
You were here the year before, and she passed away last year on November 15th.
How long were you living with your wife?
54 years. 54 years.
Did you have a good life?
Not so bad. We didn't have any fights. We didn't yell at each other. But just like life, there were interesting periods. We never thought about divorce, though. Humans aren't perfect, and that's why ladies are ladies. Sometimes men can drink too much, and ladies are talking under their breath about it. Then it gets normal again. You deal with everything as you pass through marriage.
Did Grandma Sonia often argue with you?
She was a quiet woman that didn't do that unless I spent about 10 rubles to buy some alcohol. At the time, I was getting 70 rubles, and with overtime, about 80 rubles. If I spent 10 rubles, she would know and be talking under her breath and yelling just a little.
Did you love each other when you got married?
We just met each other and started our life. I spent 54 years with her and never complained. The last 5 years, she was sick. The last year was the worst, but she was still okay. One day, she told me if I wanted to buy some alcohol, I could, and she gave me enough money to buy a whole case.
Who was your wife to you?
What?
Was she a good helper all those years?
She was a good lady. I was working and she had to do everything in the house and take care of the livestock. She found time to be with me and help me.
Did she do everything by herself?
Yes, she did. She cut the grass with a sickle. If it was not enough to feed the horse, she would go and buy more.
What can you say about your life now?
I'm alone now, and I can handle my needs. People receiving 17,000 rubles, then it's not bad for them. Those people getting 1,200 rubles don't have enough to make a living. I receive about 2,000.
In the past, you received less money, but you could buy more things. Now you have more money, but there is less to buy. You went to jail for nothing.
It was better before than now. It's harder now.
There can be a naive question asked about the motherland. This is not our fault. After years of fighting, like a war to make something better, we ended on a journey without an end. You can ask everyone that was trying to make positive changes, and they will all tell you it was for nothing. Sometimes I think that maybe it was my fault. I saw my guilt in a dream. There was a clear rain from salty tears. Through them you could see the yellow moon with the maple leaves, and you can see through your window how the world is calmly waiting for something. My guilt is like a one-string violin that howls sickly. When I wake up in the morning, my head is full of this guilt, like I had a hangover. Maybe it was my guilt. Maybe I was feeling someone else's guilt.
You wrote a beautiful story that doesn't give the real view of what you see when you get here.
Yes, the story was for the people close to me and myself. I was trying to say that I'm sorry to the people who lived here. I also wanted to give a glimpse to the people that have never been here. The people that haven't seen Lake Baikal, haven't been to this village, and haven't met the people from my childhood. That's why I did a more beautiful story. I want that beautiful story to be remembered by people. I didn't know what people's reaction would be. Later on, I wanted to do another story with more facts.
How is living for the elderly here?
It's very bad.
I spent 40 years of hard work, and I have nothing.
I've worked every day for 45 years. This is the first year I got a pension. It was 100 rubles, and they gave it to me like I was a dog. I was never complimented for my work. I've been working since I was 16. I have to go back to work or I'll die.
We can't do anything about it. Maybe there will be some changes, but before the changes come, I think we will die.
It's sad because how will our children and grandchildren survive?
I think there will be changes. It won't always be this bad.
If there will be changes, why are we waiting so long?
I believe my grandchildren will have a better life than we do. I will die first, but they will see it.
Maybe what has been said will cause you to write another story about this place.
Yes, I was trying to do that before. I put the names of the people that were from here down on paper to write something about them. I got so upset because I felt guilty about what I had written before and what has happened to these people. When I looked at the list of names, I realized it wasn't the motherland or the view of the lake, but rather the people that were the reason I had come here. Perhaps because I was just a child then, that I didn't understand how special those people were to me. Then, when it came time to recognize their lives, I realized I didn't remember that much about them. It was not enough to describe what they had to go through, to tell of their sadness and happiness. I didn't have the information to do it correctly. So even if I would like to write a story, it wouldn't be good because I hadn't thought at the time I'd be doing another story about them, so I didn't save their lives in my memory.
How are your classmates and students doing now?
When my mother was alive, I came here every 2 weeks. This land always draws me here. I still have a house here. People ask me to sell it, but I don't want to. I'm never going to sell it while I'm alive. There aren't enough young people here. There are only old people. Leonid remembers my father. He was a fisherman. When he was feeling bad, his friend was always trying to get him to give him some medicine, but he never would take it. He only felt good when he was fishing. One day he got worse, and they brought him home and he died.
I do remember him on the street during a special day wearing all of his medals and ribbons from World War II.
Yes, he was in the Second World War. Then he had a family. There were 4 children, 2 brothers, and 2 sisters. My brothers died, and now there is only my sister and I.
People say there used to be a lot of fish here before, but you just went fishing and didn't catch anything. Were the fish really here before?
You could catch as many as you could carry.
As much as you could carry?
We just caught what we needed.
Was it always good?
Not always, but in 1936 and 1937, it was fantastic.
What was the weight of your catch then?
Over 1,700 pounds.
You must have known a special place to fish.
Yes, there were 3 places, but everywhere had fish.
Do you remember Leonid from his childhood?
Yes, he was kind to older people, and that's why we liked him.
What do you remember about me? There were a lot of teenagers when I was young.
Yes, that's right. Nothing specific, just a good feeling about you.
We were noisy and having a lot of fun. Over there in the winter, we used to ice skate and play hockey. There were 30 of us. We used to sled down the mountain.
We still love it here. But before, there were more people, so it was more lively and fun. Yes, that's how it was.
So I decided to have a child and raise it myself.
Isn't it hard to do it by yourself?
I had my parents to help, not financially, but emotionally.
There must have been a lot of talking in the village about you when you had the baby without a father.
While I was in the hospital for 2 weeks, there was a lot of talk. But when I came home, it had stopped.
Did the gossip bother you?
No, I was in my 30s, and nothing bothered me.
Why aren't most women happy?
Tell me one happy woman. The woman is responsible for everything.
You lived alone for such a long time. Why did you decide to have a man in your life now?
I don't know why. He's drinking a lot more and not working. So I'll probably be alone again.
But every woman needs love, attention, and understanding. Don't you want that as well?
I've never had it, and now I don't want it. I don't want anything in this life.
Do you believe in love?
No.
Didn't you ever love anyone?
When I was young, but not now. No. I don't trust anyone, not even myself.
Don't you want someone to love you?
Yes, I want to be loved, but I got tired of waiting for that to happen. What kind of love can there be when he's drinking all the time? I'm just tired of it. For the last 2 days, I haven't given him any money, and he's been asking all the neighbors for money to drink. I'm not going to help him. Maybe another family would do things differently, but for me, I've had enough.
What's the answer for our husbands?
It's because they don't want to work. So they have this free time and they're looking for something to do. So they drink.
He was the principal of the school when they came and took him to jail. I didn't know what his crime was because he didn't steal anything and he wasn't a fighter. So I knew he was going to jail for something that wasn't that serious. Perhaps he went to jail for political reasons. At that time, he was a young man and his future was full of possibilities. He was a good teacher, a good writer, and he also possessed theatrical talent. He had a theatrical nature.
I was like a tree growing on a rock that had 100 branches. My roots were coiled like a snake around the rock. I was like a tree that broke in the spring wind. My tears were flowing down the tree and turned into amber. Nature wasn't good to me. That's why my branches are more twisted together now to give me strength. I persevered and didn't moan or complain. But as time went on, I became uglier, like a beast in a scary story. Now, just a touch will make me violent.
I was entering the 4th grade and Leonid was responsible for our class activities. Our class was in the building on the 2nd floor. At that time, his father was our principal, and Leonid was in charge of our activities. Because we were young, he was trying to keep us in a group. He would climb on a tree and pretend to be like Tarzan. He sounded just like the real Tarzan in the movie. As children, we loved spending time with him.
I was the principal's son, so I had to spend more time studying. Other teenagers were playing or working, but I was spending time with books. Some of the guys would go into the forest and pick berries and nuts and help the family. I didn't do that. So at times I felt lazy and inferior. Then I started exploring the mountains, forests, and shoreline in search of something to write about. Then I began to see my own self-worth, and now I realize I had made the right choices. Writing has molded my character and has given me something to share with others. My results were achieved through my guilt.
I almost always have headaches now.
How old are you?
Oh, I'm 89. I try to stay close to the bed because my headaches are so debilitating, and I can only lie down when I have one.
Was your life a hard one?
I had a hard life. I lived through the wars that were destructive to this area, and there were a variety of other problems. Now my pension money is inadequate. My pension currently 1,800 rubles, which is better than the 500 rubles that they used to pay me, but it's still not enough. I feel sorry for my grandchildren and the younger generation because I don't see good things happening to them in the future.
Do you have hope for the future?
Maybe the flour wheel will spin something better for us. If people have something to eat, then they can think about other things.
Is it worth it for a human being to have a long life when there are so many other problems?
I don't know what to say, but usually at the end of someone's life, they say if it was worth it.
Were people happier before? Were times better then?
Oh, yes. Now people are wrapped up in themselves. A lot of times there is only anger in their eyes. Maybe this is because they are poor. For example, vodka is so expensive. They drink it anyway, so there's less money for everything else. Once perfume was cheaper than vodka, so they were drinking perfume.
When you were younger, did people drink the way they do today?
No, before they drank only what they could handle. They used to drink on holidays and special occasions to add to the merriment. Now they drink till they pass out. Before, people were more sophisticated than now. Now, when they drink, their eyes bulge out of their heads and their words are unintelligible.
Everyone is bad now. Even Lenin is bad for having starting the Communist Party.
He wasn't God-like anyway.
Is there anything Lenin did that was good?
He gave electricity to the countryside.
They didn't want any Sundays, just the revolution. Consequently, they predicted their future.
Through all of this self-righteousness, I can see one thing. People fought not for a goal, but just to be fighting. Through the history of Russia, a man has had to fight for everything that he needs. That's why writers feature this character in their works, because it represents the Russian truth. There was a revolutionary that has a road named after him for selling weapons. As a man, he didn't have a good reputation. There are people who gave their lives building this road, and yet there is no mention of them. I feel guilty about the people not mentioned, and I don't know why, since it's not my fault. These people were always walking against the wind. I did participate to some extent, but the people I speak of did a lot more than I did. The reason this area is safe today to visit is because of those people. I am not the only one that feels this way. When someone comes here to visit, they will see and feel the love, kindness, and natural beauty that those people had saved.
What's your cat's name?
Kitty.
What's your name?
Olga.
What is your full name?
Olga Tiapinka.
Olga Tiapinka. How old are you? You don't know how old you are. What grade are you in?
None.
Are you going to school?
No.
Why? You don't want to go?
Uh-huh.
You used to go to school,
Yes, when I was younger.
but you didn't like it.
Uh-huh.
Why? Can you read?
No.
Don't you wish you could read a book?
What?
You don't want to be able to read. So you're not reading anything.
No.
What are you doing?
I am living life.
Can you describe your husband?
He was normal, not perfect.
Did you love him when you first married?
Oh, I don't know.
Can you say you had a good marriage?
Yes, I can.
What examples can you give? He didn't fight with you or disparage you.
Everything was good unless he was drinking.
Were you happily married?
It was not that bad.
How long ago did he die?
5 years ago.
Is it hard to raise the children?
I've gotten used to it.
What would you like to have in your life the most now?
There was a sad story from 1933. There was no food. People were hungry. In one family, only the father and the son were left alive. The father told the son to kill him and live off of his flesh. Eventually, the son did kill the father, and he had to eat him to stay alive. This was a country lifestyle, but the government ran the farm, not the people. If the people had a cow, the government would come and take it to the government farm. They took everything that my parents had, partially because my mother didn't want to go and work on the government farm. They even took the flower bed. I remember crying and screaming at them to leave them, but they didn't. There were 5 kids in our family, but the government didn't care about that. Our cow remembered where he lived and kept coming back home. My father kept taking him back to the farm. One of the men there got to know our family and made it possible for us to keep our cow. Back then there wasn't enough to eat, and we were told if someone sees our cow, that would be a problem. So we had no choice. We had to kill our cow and eat it ourselves. Back then there were people called activity people. They would go from house to house, checking on the people to see how and what they were doing. If the people had a surplus of something, it would be taken from them to the government farm. One day my mother looked out the window and saw them coming. So we hid the meat with some material. Part of the cloth was still moving and attracted attention of a child, and she pulled on it, uncovering the hidden meat. Either they didn't see it, or they let it pass and we got to keep the meat. That's the kind of life we had.
Do you think private ownership is better?
Yes, of course, but with fewer people, everything started to come apart.
Did your husbands help maintain things while they were alive?
Yes, but now the roads are so bad here that no one comes here. Most of the people using the roads are leaving. Now there are just older people that live here on a pension. No one is going to listen to us what changes should be made.
Friends still help each other.
What do you mean?
No one wants to listen to us because we're old and almost dead.
That's true.
We're living day by day.
Is there any future here?
For me, I do have some ideas. I don't know about the others. We're going to try and rebuild this sanitarium for a hotel that will attract tourists. This is a nice place to spend a vacation. We are also going to try and create a health spa.
By doing this, you think you'll make a living?
Why not?
Do you talk to the other people here?
The people here are dying with the area. They stop going to school. They don't talk much. There isn't that much going on here. People are just getting drunk. They're full of animosity towards each other. After work, there's nothing for them to do.
I'm 92 years old, and I've seen everything. You can't show me anything new. I've seen good things and bad things. I would like to dance and sing, but that won't change anything. I'm so tired and weak. I hope God won't give you my situation. That's why I don't like to have my picture taken. not looking good. My husband is a watermelon, and I'm a squash. He was beating me yesterday, and I'm beating him now. I will make a modern jacket with pockets on the side. Just because I don't have any teeth doesn't mean you won't fall for me.
Grandma, when you were young, were you beautiful?
I'm still the same on the inside, but not the outside. I was a good-looking girl, but no better than the other ones.
Have you been happy?
No, I wasn't happy. What does happiness mean?
Далью пройдут суда торопливые мимо, а волны все так же бегут, а волны все так же бегут, в счет времени неумолимо. И в ритме его роковом желтеют верхушки у ели, застыли в зевке вековом туманные пасти тоннелей, но памятью вечной крепки, щедры к суду и к совету, добром помянут старики, байкальские старики, дорогу забытую эту, дорогу забытую эту.
I was trying to buy something in the store, but there wasn't enough. Then they didn't want to sell me vodka. I guess they didn't want me to get drunk. It was okay, though, because I had a couple of shots. If the prices were cheaper, it would be good. Our pension payment will come soon. I don't know what I'm going to do with it because I can't buy that much. Someone asked me how I could live on just this much money, and I can't say I have to live on this much. Sometimes I want to go to the store, buy some golden jewelry, but I can't.
You could have a boarder stay at your house.
No, I don't want that.
You have a lot of children that could help you.
They don't have enough money for their own families. They're coming to me for help. I told them to just stay home, but they keep coming. I don't want to complain. I can still have tea and jam for you if you come over. You would sit and have a nice time.
Don't tell me that. He traveled a lot with his vagabond friends. He knows where he can pick up berries.
We were talking about here.
We have a lot of berries. black currant and red currant and others. He knows the whole forest, so he knows where there are more. He travels with his vagabond friends. I'm not buying what you're saying.
The other day, I picked some berries on the other side of the hill.
Yes, but cars have destroyed some of them.
You can get enough for yourself.
Grandma, I know you can make a living. Oh, here is the train.
I didn't have another choice in my life. If I stayed, I would have gotten in more trouble. While I was away, I thought I would never get to come back here. There were several reasons I decided not to immigrate somewhere else. But the main reason was I knew that if I did, I would never be able to come back here. Just the thought of not coming back here scares me.
Why are you doing that? I told you I don't want to be in the movie. Don't even think about filming or I'll take that camera and break it.
Hey, boss, what did you bring for us?
Leave it like it is.
You know what? I wonder if there is anybody around here that is happy living in this country. In this big country, there should be a place where people are happy. Only a mental person couldn't describe what's happening to this country. We're making this shot like it's a regular shot, but it's not. I feel sorry and I want to ask for forgiveness. I can't do anything for these people or the place they live. I'm just helpless.